So a quick mini refresher, mini lesson before we jump into our case studies. How can you add more personality to your work? What hobbies or interests can you subtly add to the work you're already doing? Pay attention to what interests you and excites you and look for ways to add a small piece of that into your brand experience. And you can head back to lesson 3 from the Brand Strategy 101 class for more exercises on adding personality to your brand. But ultimately, building a personality-filled brand has a few really key upsides, which is why we're talking about it today. 1, it generally makes you like your work more. 2, in an increasingly non-human world, you can really stand out. And 3, it helps customers resonate with your brand, which becomes the foundation and the start of brand loyalty. And as we go through our case studies, remember that the goal is not to copy. That's a shortcut, and it's going to rob you of your own capacity for authenticity. Instead, just use these examples as a jumpstart for your own brainstorm. Lesson 3 of the brand strategy class is devoted to developing your brand's personality. And the goal of it was to help you see yourself more holistically. What interests and hobbies could you naturally and authentically fold into your work in surprising little ways? And one of the examples I gave was if you're running a small business, but you're also interested in photography, you could use Polaroids to add a little dash of fun and originality. Well, as luck would have it, the Real Salt Lake soccer team just updated their team roster on the RSL website. And last year, it was standard roster. Headshot, bio. It really didn't look different from any other team or any other league or sport for that matter. But this year, instead, their roster is a Polaroid of each player. And each player's got their own signature underneath their Polaroid. And when I looked through these, I could visualize them just lining up on a wall one day before practice and snapping these Polaroids. They were actually there. It wasn't highly edited and polished and taken back to a photographer's studio. And somehow knowing that made the experience feel more engaging to me. It has personality. It's not so produced. And I kind of love it. And comparing this year's roster with last year's page, which do you like? Why? How can you take these insights, what you liked, and liven up your own work, your own brand, how you're showing it and talking about it? Did it spark any new ideas for you? All right, next up we have Ritual Chocolate. And their dark chocolate sea salt is something I discovered in my own neighborhood grocery store. And I love it. I buy it often. I try to keep it on hand. But one thing besides the quality that I love is the packaging. Each flavor has its own little scene just inside the flap. It's not just features, types of beans, locations, expiration dates. It's more fun than that. It's painting a mental picture for me. It's casting aspiration for an experience. And interestingly, I think, is that they're doing this through packaging. And most brands do this through imagery. So they're really kind of bringing their own unique take to it and putting it somewhere that's surprising. And as a brand, I think their content could use a bit more of this. And I think that because of how much I love how perfectly executed it is on each package, I want to see it everywhere else in their brand too. But it's still a really useful example of how brand strategy plays out, how it can craft a playful experience, which over time feels like a deep experience. You build these things in your brand strategy, your brand promise, your brand aesthetic, your poetic slogans. And in fact, these are the things that you build in our live workshops. And Ritual Chocolate is this beautiful example of then how you bring that to life. It's not just words on a page. It's strategy that you execute consistently that makes your brand more fun, more memorable. It elevates you amongst your competition. And for me, the person buying it, it makes me look forward to bringing that into my home and into my life. All right, friends, last up is Air. And Air is a small clothing company. They offer men's styles and women's styles. They're small batch with a focus on high quality. They actually feature made in LA denim. It's spelled AYR, pronounced Air, and it stands for all year round. And their mission is to create these perfected wearable essentials. And considering that that is exactly my style, it's no surprise I've been watching this brand for years. And when I was building out this class, I really wanted one more brand to feature. I wanted to have 3. I had the RSL Polaroid, which I really loved, and the Ritual Chocolate. And I was really struggling to find a third one that I felt happy about. As luck would have it, the Air catalog arrived in the mail. Fortuitous, yes? What I want to focus on here is just their little bits of wit and charm. They sell clothes. It would be really easy to just say, it's organic cotton. It's 32 inches long. It's made of this or made here. But they do something different instead. They take this as an opportunity. So let's take their button-down shirt. Classic shirt. There are a couple variations, but I'm going to read 2 descriptions that they use based on these variations. And you're going to see what I mean of going above and beyond just describing, oh, this is cotton, this was made here. It's 15 inches wide based on a size medium. So the first description. This shirt was a banker on Wall Street until she cashed out and started a new career as a florist on Nantucket. Spends her days lounging on weather-worn furniture, drinking expensive wine, and smelling like fresh peonies. All right, second version, which is for the chambray button-up. When a chambray deep end and an Oxford cotton deep end love each other very much, they occasionally get together and make a baby. And then, because that baby is button-down royalty, who's been raised by 2 super elegant yet very chill parents, that baby grows up to be the softest, chicest, most down-to-earth shirt you've ever seen. She can dine with the queen all fancy-like one day, then pack away a lumberjack breakfast with a ragtag team of diner dive regulars. Is she technically a Nepo baby? Sure, but she's our Nepo baby. Now let's look at their catalog. So they have this voice on their website in their descriptions, but it doesn't just end there. They've done a really good job, a thoughtful job, bringing that voice across into other things that they do, into their emails and into their catalog. And I've puppy-eared some pages to show you. 1940s radio voice. Now see here, sonny boy. I've flown first class, Elaine. I can't go back to coach. resist the urge to rush, overthink, outsource, or outright skip adding simple brand building personality strategies. Because what starts as brand personality can easily become overanalyzed and overproduced, losing charm and authenticity in the process, which would be a total shame because authenticity is one of your small shop superpowers. So rather than talk about big sweeping creative strategies, these case studies are just about adding little bits of flair and charm and wit to our brands. We're going to look at 3 brands together today that I think are doing really well at this. And hopefully it sparks ideas and ultimately frees you to trust your instincts and have fun with building your brand.